Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since we made a video. It's been pretty busy around here. Today we're making another sign. Got a 1x12 here, and we're gonna run it through the planer, get it nice and smooth, and then we will stencil on our art piece, paint it, and we'll get it ready to go. It's for my cousin. He just got married. I'm gonna say Hanson family, EST 10/8/21. All right, here we go. All right, back here, got it laid out. Got a transfer paper, and we are simply going to lift it up, lay our paper down, and trace it. And when you trace it, you can't see that, can you? Get a little pencil line. There we go. All right, got it all traced out. So now we'll peel this off. And there it is. Oops, upside down here though. Hanson family, 10/8/21. All right, next step would be to, well, there's a couple things we can do. But the first thing I'm gonna do, we could router it out. We could router out the letters if we wanted to do that next. We could cut down the sides. So right now you can see there's a lot more on this end than this end. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of look at it, take measurements, kind of decide how much I want to leave on each side. I do this because in the past I've cut it to a size I want and then laid the image out and not like the end result. So I like to lay the image out so I can get a visual and put a couple marks. So maybe 2 inches on each side might be enough. That'd be kind of nice, I think. I'll put a mark there and a mark there. Kind of look at it a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. So I'll take it over the chop saw, make 2 cuts. After that, we can either router the letters or we can router the edge. Either way, you can do either one first. I'll probably do the routered edge first and then the letters last. All right, I ended up deciding to go with the cove bit. I don't know, I like it. Some people don't, but get a little decorative edge on it, nothing too fancy. Okay. All right, now time for the engraving of the letters. Gotta go with the old straight bit, 1/8 inch straight bit. These letters are a little bigger. I thought about going with a bigger straight bit, like a 1/4 inch. But my problem is like the O, for example. This little tiny spot there, and this little tiny piece there, and on the Y, and then again, there was another letter. I guess not. I guess those are the only ones. That stuff that's supposed to be left, like that right there, if you got a wide, like a 1/4 inch bit coming through here, there's a good chance that would break off. And if that breaks off, you're SOL, man, because you ain't putting it back on. So plus I'm gonna have to switch to a smaller one to do these letters anyways. So yeah, I'll have to do double pass on each letter with this bit. But I just don't want to risk losing that part of the O. So I put it in my router. Did a little test for depth. It's kind of what I'm looking for, about an 1/8 inch deep. That usually turns out pretty good. Once you paint it and you sand it, it turns out pretty good. So you can see the coat bit's been done on it. All right, now we're to this engraving of the letters. I didn't mention, this is my Porter cable. This is by far, this is model 890. My favorite router that I have. I have about 10 routers. This is by far my favorite. I was able to purchase it from my grandfather's estate when he had passed away. So not only is it a great router, it means a lot to me because it was once his router. So we will router this out and see how that turns out. There it is, cut out. And now we're going to move my router out of the way here. Some different grit sandpaper. We're gonna sand all the rough, all the burrs off, all the pencil. And once we do that, I'll be ready for paint. All right, and there we have it. It's ready for paint. We will try and get it painted tonight. It's gonna have black lettering, and then we'll clear coat it. Or paint it, sand it, get all the excess paint off that's on the board. And then it'll be ready for clear coat. All right, it's the next day, and we're going to add paint to our sign. Simply just using some Behr paint primer paint. The black that I have is it's the Onyx. They custom made it because, I don't know, they didn't know the Onyx code or something. So I'm just gonna take a brush, fill in where I routed. Once it dries, sand off the paint that's on top of the material. Okay, so we got it painted. It's a mess. It's all over the place. Once that dries, we'll take 80 grit, sand it, and we'll come back with a 120, a 160, and then we'll finish it with a 220 sanding. And once we do that, we'll double check, make sure there's no paint missing. Okay, bro. Sorry about that. And then it'll be ready for clear coat. And then we'll put a couple keyhole holes on the back for hanging. Okay, now we are to the part where we are gonna sand off all this paint that's on the face, make it look nice and clean. We're gonna use a palm sander, I believe. Yep, 80 grits on there. We'll start with 80, and then we'll work our way to 220. All right, here we go. All right, sanded, cleaned up. There's a couple spots. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but like the top of the end, see how there's wood showing a little bit? I don't know if you can see that or not. On the H, there's a couple spots on the H. Right here. So those spots, I'm gonna get the black paint, touch them up real lightly. Make sure I don't get on. If I get any on the face, I'll just sand it again. After I do that, I'll let it dry, and then we'll clear coat it. Okay, last step, we got our sign. Got a router. This is my cordless router. Got the keyhole bit. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put 2 keyholes, one on each top corner so it can hang on the wall. I got a little jig that I made for my router. Got the wrench. Let me get the bit in the router and then we'll router some keyholes. Okay, seems like a good depth. You can see here's where the screw head would go in and then it would slide up. So screw hole, slide up, that's where it's hanging. It's a little long keyhole. What we'll do, we'll put one in the top corners here. So let's flip this over. This is the bottom. Let me just make sure. Yep. This is the bottom of the sign. So your plunge has to be towards the bottom and then you bring it up. This jig sits right on the edge of your workpiece. I kind of want this off to the side because I got the router to in the word, and I don't want to, if I was to hit one of the routed words with this, it would make a hole all the way through the piece. So you got to make sure you stay away. I'm safe over here. I got a nice little area over here where nothing would be in the way. So once you get this kind of where you want it, you just clamp down the jig. The jig is made to fit this base. So you plunge it in and then you pull it up. I don't want the keyhole to be that big, so we'll go down right about there. There's one now, I don't typically think that's, I didn't want it that deep, but that's quite not deep enough, but I think it will be okay. We'll put a screw in and we'll get a glance at it here once I'm done doing this side. So again, put the jig in, put that in. It doesn't matter where you start, really, because the jig is only gonna let you go so far. So the the top of the hole will be in the same spot every time. go. I'll bring it down so you can kind of see that. All right. I'll get a screw and then we'll kind of test out the hole. I thought I had one in my pocket. Screw goes in and it doesn't come out because the hole's narrower. That's your keyhole. Oh. The sign is now 100% done. Take the clamp off, take the mag off, blow the dust off. It's ready to go to the customer.